Hello everyone. How's everyone today?
Awesome.
Oh, come on now, you can do better than that. You're putting me to sleep.
Oh, fabulous, awesome, terrific.
Okay, I'm Terry Stallwood. I'm a professional real estate investor. I help people make above average income from real estate. Who is Terry Stallwood? I'm an international real estate investor. I have property in Las Vegas, Florida, Honduras, and Canada. I'm an author, speaker, mentor, coach, Red Seal carpenter. I've been a contractor for over 45 years, and I do lots of JV partnerships, and I'm always looking for more JV partners. Finding a property, I don't know. One of the things you really need is have a great realtor. My realtor needs to be investing in their own. They need to be willing to work with investors and like it. A lot of realtors do not like working with investors. They think they're cheap, not serious, and basically a waste of time. But we all here know that's not true. My realtor also needs to like and have the passion to find great deals and put deals together and make the whole thing come together. You want to check newspapers, look for sale by owner, mortgage foreclosures, handyman specials, anything that needs work. Sometimes you'll find a vendor take back for a mortgage. You know that they want to get rid of this property, so you could possibly have a really good deal. Word of mouth, you want to talk to everybody you can, coffee shops, like wherever you go. Tell people what you're all about, tell people what you want. Try to get people on your side and have them out looking for all these things that you're looking for or want to do. If someone comes to you with a great deal and the deal goes together, by all means, make sure you pay them a referral fee, because then they'll be out looking for more all the time for you. Citywide contacts, just don't stay in your local area. You want to be out wherever there's a deal. I myself have met some city workers, building inspectors, bylaw officers, whoever. They know what I'm doing, they like what I do. If they see anything like a house that maybe is going to be torn down and you have a vacant lot, they'll phone me, tell me that keep your eye on this lot, it's going to be coming up for sale or whatever. Keep your ears and eyes open for anything that's happening in the area that you're mainly interested in. You never know where a deal's coming from. You might, in a new area, you might see on one corner there could be a Burger King going up. You know, on the opposite corner in a month or 2 or 6 months, there's going to be a McDonald's or a Tim Hortons there. If that lot is vacant and you can possibly put an offer on it, tie it up, by all means do that. Get a hold of McDonald's or Tim Hortons. You know they're coming. How good can that be? Finding money partners. You know, coming to these investment groups and these events are totally one of the best ways you can find anybody like that. Have your own power team. Like I have a power team. We have a mortgage advisor, an insurance broker, a lawyer, a contractor, a realtor, anybody that can help you and give you good advice on deals that you're looking at or help you get a deal and the whole program together. Everybody meets, not every week, but maybe once a month. Some people bring deals to the table, everybody gives you their opinion, everybody looks at it in different ways, pros and cons, and you know, hopefully in the end you can really put a fantastic deal together through your power team. Networking, when you're at the investment groups, you want to talk to everybody, do lots of listening. You learn sometimes way more when you're listening and not talking. And just talk to everybody you can. Bankers, anybody you're meeting. Tell them what you're going to be doing, what you want to do. Meet mortgage brokers. Mortgage brokers are great. They probably have 50 different people and organizations that they deal with to get money from. They're not so cut and dried as a bank. They have hard money lenders, private money lenders, long-term lenders. If it's a buy and hold, you know, they can pretty much put almost any kind of a deal together.
Now say, you want to find out how to buy it.
Yeah, so I'm going to tell you some stories of some projects that I've done. If you want to find out how you can invest $15,000 and make over $100,000.
Does anybody want to know how to invest $15,000 and make $100,000?
Yeah. Does anybody want to know how to invest $15,000 and come out of that with over $100,000?
Boom! Yeah!
Okay, so all you got to do is buy an island. I bought this island in Lake of the Woods, northwestern Ontario. It's a lake with 13,000 islands, 65 miles of shoreline. Over 95% of this land is all crown land owned by the government. There are very few islands and lots available to purchase. Does anybody have any ideas on how you would go about trying to find an island like this? If anybody gets this right, it's so easy. I'll give you one of my books. No? I found this island just by conversation. I was building a cottage for one of my clients in Lake of the Woods on another island. He flew up from the United States. We were talking and going over some stuff on the dock, and we were just standing there looking down the lake, and he just happened to say, you know, I was going to buy that island over there. They wanted 100 grand for it. I got them down to 80,000, and I'm just not willing to spend 80,000 for an island that I'm not going to do anything with. I just wanted to buy it. So he was just telling me about it. I had no idea it was for sale. As we were building his cottage, there were lots of people came in that were out fishing, would stop in and look at the cottage and talk to us and go, wow, I wish I could buy a place like this, because there was no other cottages out there. It was out in nowhere, and everybody wanted to have their own place. So I'm going, this is a good opportunity. So he jumped in his plane. I said to him, just as he was going to get in the plane, for sure you're not going to buy that island? You don't want it? Said, no, I'm not spending that much. So he jumped in his plane, took off back to the States. I jumped in my boat. I headed back to town. And I went to the registry office, looked up the island, looked up the owner, got the contact information. I called him. I offered him the 80,000 that I knew he would take with a 10-day option for financing. He accepted that. I went to the bank and talked to some investors that I knew around town. Nobody seemed to be that interested in it, because nobody was actually doing anything out there. And the bank, they do not really want to finance vacant land, and especially when it's like 10 miles out in the lake. So that was out. So that night, I had 8 days were gone. 2 days left. Another client came up to his cottage that I built him on another island. He phones me up, as he usually did, and he says, oh, is there anything going on that I should know about? I said, oh, started telling him about this island, how what a great deal it was. And he says, geez, pick me up, let's go take a look. So I went, picked him up in the boat, went down, we went all around the island, told him how I wanted to split it up, what I thought we could get it for. I wanted to split it into three sections, so each section, anybody on each section could not see the neighbor and or the other island where I built the other guy's original cottage. I didn't want anybody seeing him, and definitely I didn't want him seeing anybody on this island because he didn't want anybody to own it. So he was really interested in that. So he says, what do you need from me? I said, oh, I only need $80,000. He said, well, that's like the whole thing. I said, of course it is. I said, I need 80 grand to close. I said, I'll pay the legal fees, the survey, any essentials. I'll get the place cleaned up, and I'll get them sold. So he said, sure, let's do it. So I took the conditions off. He gave me the 80 money. We closed on it. Little did we know, the Ontario government made me do an archaeological study on this property. They thought maybe 100 years ago somebody canoed by there, a trapper or whatever, and they might have stayed there or who knows what. But they were wondering if there was artifacts on this island. So I had to do the archaeological study. That was very expensive. I think it was like $1,000 an hour. So I got that all paid, everything was good, found no artifacts, found no bones. If they would have found bones, they would have called up a complete study. That could have cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, and you have to pay for that whole thing. That does not work very well with me. So luckily, found nothing, everything went through great. We got it all done, sold them off, and this is how it all broke down. Purchase price of 80, legals were 15, I put in, total of 95,000. Sold 3 lots for 345, purchase price of 95, 10% interest to the investor over the time that I had his 80,000, paid him 8. Accounting and expenses came to around 10,000. Profit left over out of this project was 232,000, which we happily split 50-50, and we got around 116 each. So then I bought a commercial building after that, and I was going to the post office where everybody goes in a small town. You meet everybody there in the morning between 10 and 12, and you hear all the local gossip. So I heard that the post office was actually looking for a place to expand. They'd already grown out of their space. They've been there like 40 years. And I knew the manager of the credit union, and she told me that the credit union was looking for a bigger spot because they had outgrown their area. And this property here was the only vacant building actually in town, and especially the only one big enough to house 2 businesses like that. This used to be a grocery store, a fish plant, flea market, furniture store, but it had been empty for 2 or 3 years now. So the guy was trying to sell it, and he was asking, it was listed at one time for $195,000. So I phoned him, I told him that I was interested in the building, but not quite yet, and I would let him know when I was ready. So time went on, like a year. The price started coming down to 175, 155, and he kept phoning me. He said, are you ready yet? And I go, no, I'm not ready yet. But in the meantime, I'd been phoning the credit union and Canada Post, working deals with them, and it came down to the time where they really wanted to start signing up and get moving on their new building. So I phoned them up and said, okay, now I'm ready, because they wanted to sign contracts on a building with me that I didn't even own yet. So the price had actually come down to $155, I think, at that time. So he says, what can you do for me? And I said, the only thing that's going to work for me is I'll give you $75,000. You hold 100% of the mortgage. I'll pay you 10% interest, no interest payments, and no mortgage payments. You'll get all your money at the end of the term, over 2 years or less. So he didn't like that very well, but he really wanted to get rid of this property. So he agreed to it. We signed it up. I ended up taking the property over. About a month before I took the property over, I talked to someone else, and he was looking for a spot to put a laundromat. So I told him, at that time I had this building all tied up so nobody else could take it. So I told him about the addition on the front of this, that I wanted to get rid of it. And he looked at it and we made a deal. So the second day after I took possession of this property, we lifted this addition up, hauled it. A friend of mine had a big truck there, and we hauled this away, and I sold it to him for $10,000. So now I have a building that I put no money down on. 2 days after I own it, I get $10,000 back in cash. So then I did make the deal with the post office and with the credit union. I, being one of the only contractors in town, they hired me to do both of their renovations. So they put $220,000 each into my building. So I ended up working 6-8 months getting both of those projects all done. So in the end, I got paid great money for renovating, and they put in like $450,000 into my building. I kept the building. The deal I made with them, I signed them up for a 5-year term with an option of a 3-year renewal or 3-term renewal, which totaled 20 years. So it was a great long-term plan. After the first term, I re-signed everybody up, and I actually sold this building to the credit union. So they bought it, and then the post office was their tenant. So this is the building after we finished renovating it and it was all done. So that's how this deal broke down. The original asking price was $195. Accepted offer of $75. I personally put $50,000 into it. In interest for 18 months is when he got paid out. I paid him $12,250. Sold the addition for $10,000 right away, which brought the building down to $127,250 for a cost. I sold the building for $260. The cost of the building $127,250, which left a profit of $132,750. So just recently, my realtor found this triplex. It's in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Myself and my investor went through this property. It's right beside the Health Sciences Center, which is the biggest hospital in Manitoba. It's just, you can see the hospital from the triplex. Everybody living here works at the hospital. So we went and we toured through this property with the realtor. The owner happened to be there the day we went, and my partner knew the owner. I had met the owner a couple of times years ago, but he didn't remember me. But so we went through it and looked at all the numbers and everything, and the owner was telling us that he wanted to go to Costa Rica like right away. He had property, he wanted to put money down on it. He wanted out of Canada, and he just wanted to move to Costa Rica, and he really wanted to get rid of this building. Well, that was probably not the best information he should have passed out at that time. So my partner calls him up, and he works out a deal with him the things had to be done, needed a new roof, and some of the things needed fixing. So anyway, we put an offer in on this property, and this is how this all broke down. The original asking price was $259. Through negotiations, we got this property down to $200,001. He fought like crazy for the $1. I have no idea why he wanted this dollar. I think just because he wanted to say that he got over $200,000 for it. We had a $10,000 holdback because he was supposed to do the roof and some small repairs, and he didn't do those before closing, which he was supposed to. So we held the $10,000 back. Through a negotiation, we ended up giving him $2,000 out of the 10. We kept 8 to do the roof and some minor repairs. So we did that. So our final purchase price was $192,001. At that time, we paid cash for this property. My investor put all the money into it. I find these properties, I look after them. Now I'm property managing it. So like everything after the purchase comes back to me. Anything needs to be fixed, I fix. I'm total hands-on on these projects. So now we're at the point where we're going to refinance this building to get my investors' money back again. So we have an appraised value of $260,000. We're looking at getting a mortgage for $208,000 at 3%. Monthly revenue from this property is $46.85. Monthly expenses are $12.75. The mortgage payment will be $9.48. Leaves a positive cash flow of $24.25. We will either split this 50-50 or we'll just leave it in there for future renos or whatever. The extra money from the original purchase, we will either leave in the bank or we can actually split that or put it into a new project. So I have a lot of time into these projects. My investor put in the money. He's getting his money back, and at the end of the day, we both are 50% owners on title. We have no money in it, and we have $2,400 a month income. So these are the kind of projects that I do. I'm always looking for money partners, joint venture partners, anything that we can do to put a deal together. So outside of the box, I've been known to work outside of the box. A lot of deals just aren't black and white. You have to go into some of these deals with a totally open mind, look at them all different kinds of ways, try to make something make sense out of the whole thing, because sometimes the best deals in the end were just the craziest deals in the very beginning. You just couldn't imagine anything would even work, but they end up working and they turn out to be a very good deal in the end. So I'd like to thank you for all giving me some of your valuable time. I'll be here for the full amount of the event. If anybody wants to talk to me, I'll be over on the side over here. I have more stories in my book. These are some of the stories actually out of my book. If you want to see any other or read about any of the other deals that I've done, just come and see me, and you can pick up a copy of the book. So once again, thank you. Thanks.
Enjoy the event.
Enjoy the event, yes.